Hello everyone, I am back and I'm here to show you what I've been doing with the 3D printer. Alright, I bought this 3D printer for $99 and set it up, used their slicer that came with it, downloaded it, and loaded several files onto it, sliced them, and then put them onto the little USB drive. The SD drive and SD card, and just started printing away. So this thing has been printing for 200 hours, probably more than that, probably 250, maybe 300 hours. And it's been doing it non-stop, and I haven't had a single issue. So far I have printed, let's see, this is a C8 Corvette that's had the body panels removed. I scanned it, and this is the result. So that's why the front end looks funny. This is all the stuff that's underneath the body panels when you take them off. The back panels were also removed, but it complained about this not being watertight. So I hit the button to make it automatically watertight. And what it did was this, where the door is and where the back fender is, were open areas. And it decided just to put flat panels where that is. So ideally, I wouldn't even have those in place. And then I had to do a lot of trimming. There is the excess supports because it had to be printed on end to get it to 18:1 scale, which is the same as my other model, which isn't here. It's a metal die cast model. Once I did that, I had that metal die cast, one of them, I have two of them. I put a clay model on top to mock up the car the way I wanted it to look. And so I went ahead and scanned it, 3D scanned it, and printed it. And this is what you see here. So because this was clay on top of a metal model of that, I should be able to cut the bottom out, and this should sit right on top of that. Now, I might have an issue because of the curve there. It might not slide right over, it might hang. What I can do though is, if I have to, I can cut off this back fender and this door, and then this back area right here, it actually doesn't extend this far back. It only goes back to where it's smooth right here. So I could cut this whole back section off. What I was worried about was this corner right here, where it will clear these humps. That's part of the reason I put this wing on here. The wing was, well, if that corner sticks out, then a wing would cover it where it sticks out. Let me look and see if that's hollow inside that wing. Oh, I can't see until I open up. So ideally it'll be hollow inside that wing, and this corner might just go up into the corner here. Not sure. After I did those two, I went ahead and I already had a file of the Bugatti. I'm going to actually have this fiberglass body already made. It's just waiting on me to design the chassis. So I started getting rid of the support. There was a lot of support underneath here. I need to go Google how to make the support differently, because it doesn't need to be that extensive, but it's there. But what I wanted to show you was there is the actual frame underneath. So I'm going to use this frame. It's not going to be this way. There's a better way to do it. It's going to be an all-aluminum frame. But I needed all the dimensions and stuff, so I will make a 3D model of the frame, both the way it is now and the new one, and put the two together. This is 18:1 scale, as is this one. This one is 24:1, if I'm not mistaken. So when I design my chassis, I will design it and then reduce it to 24:1 and get it to work. And I just finished printing this one. This is one of my car designs. One of my designers came up, made this for me. I came up with the design and he made it for me. There was a lot of back and forth involved. The issue is that supposedly this body is designed to fit on top of that. I know it won't fit because when I printed this model and this one, I had to put it at an angle so that it will fit in here, because it's too long here to fit. That's 220 by 220, and this is 278 or something like that. That's millimeters. It will print 250 millimeters tall, but again, it wouldn't print even on end, it was close, but it was a little bit sharp. So I had to put it at just enough angle that it would fit and print. That's what you see here, and it is 18:1 scale. This one is also supposed to be 18:1 scale, and it was supposed to fit on top of there. I don't think it will fit. One of the reasons is because I was able to print this standing straight up and down like that. So that means it's less than 250 millimeters end to end. So there's no way it will fit on this one that is 278 millimeters. Unless cutting off that front end piece and that back end piece makes just enough difference. I don't think so. I also think it won't be tall enough with the back fenders to clear. The front ones might clear, but I don't think the back ones are going to clear. I'll find out what I'm going. Oh, and this is the difference between the supports. Because this was able to stand up on end, it only needed a support for, it ended up being for this part of the wheel opening right there would not have printed because it wouldn't trying to print the air. So it had to print this whole piece right here just so this wasn't printing in air. But this is the piece that had to be done on these other two that were at an angle. So you can see that's all wasted material, whereas this one only wasted that strip right there, the rest of it and the strip right there. But a lot of it's open. Ideally, this should be really easy to pull off. I will see. The other thing is my Modix printer. I have been fighting with it and fighting with it. There should be a finished print sitting on it right now, but it's an hour away drive, so I haven't checked on it yet. I wanted to get this next print going. So one of the potential issues, it keeps clogging up the nozzle, and then the extruder won't extrude because it can't push the filament past the clog. One of the potential issues is dirty filament. The filament that's there has been sitting there for a year. Oh, and it also can absorb water from the environment. So it's been sitting out for a year. So if you look at this, I'm not sure if you can see it, probably not in this light, but there is a lot of dust on this. So one of the symptoms of clogging would be dirty filament. So I said, all right, let me go ahead and take this filament from the Modix printer, bring it over here and test it out to see if it's any good. Well, obviously the filament is not the issue because this one printed with no issues whatsoever. And by the way, this does have the lines on there. You can see they're not bad, but they are there. I printed this in normal mode. I could have printed it in a much higher detail mode, but it would have taken twice as long. This took, I'm going to say 48 hours, something like that to print. I don't remember the exact number, something like that. Obviously didn't want to double it, which is what printing it better would do. But anyway, it went through this roll, used this, and it worked fine. Part of me wishes I would have kept it with the original color, so then when I splice this model onto there, it would all match, color match. But I wanted to test the filament, so I went ahead and did that. Now I have switched back to the, it's supposed to be purple. Believe it or not, that's supposed to be purple, but it sure looks pink. Anyway, I believe the label in the package it looked more purple, but once you get it out, it looks more pink. I switched back to this filament for that reason. I had to rig up a spool holder for the filament because that roll is so much larger than that one. That's the other thing, is this is not one of the large rolls out there. This is one of the medium rolls. So there's a roll that's like twice as big as this. So it was actually kind of reassuring to know that all of that filament isn't wasted. The previous guy that was on the printer opened up 4 different colors of PLA filament so he could test with them instead of just using one. I guess he didn't know that they're not supposed to be left out. They should have been left sealed and they would still be good. But once you open the package, then you're exposing it to the elements. Luckily, in this case, it looks like it didn't hurt anything. All right, so the other thing is I am printing just the side of, another card design. I took my C8 and I put a C2 Corvette body on it with some modifications. So I was trying to print just a shell of it, but I cannot get it to, I got the 3D model, but then I can't get it to slice. It complains about it. And then when I put it in the slicer, all it prints is the supports. It doesn't print the actual body itself. So in frustration, I said, fine, I will cut off the side and I will just print the side itself. I was able to do that through some manipulation, I think. I won't know until it actually prints, but this one's only going to take 4 hours. In the case of this printer, 4 hours is a short period of time. So I'm going to go ahead and print the side. I couldn't tell 100% that it was going to print the actual side and not just the supports, but this is my test to see. So I will know after this if it looks kind of questionable on the slicer when I'm going through the preview. Then if it doesn't look perfect, it needs to be perfect. Or I can look at this and say, okay, the slicer doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to look good enough. So it's really hard to see what's what because of the colors. And I couldn't get it to change the default colors. I think there is a way, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I'm fairly confident this is going to print, but I won't know until it gets done. All right, that's all I have for now. The rest of what I'm going to do while the 4 hours while this is printing is I'm going to go in and obviously remove all the supports from this thing. And then what I'm going to do is, at some point I will remove all the lower supports of this so that everyone, including me, can see the chassis. A lot of this is open. Again, this is pretty much a shell. The other thing I'm going to do is cut the bottom out of this and open it up, and I will remove this mirror, put it someplace safe, and then ideally, like I said, this thing should fit right on top of that. So I will check that. I wasn't worried about this part. I'm leaving the factory C8. I did round the edges as much as I could when on the actual car, but we'll see. So I will see if this will fit on there. And then the front end isn't like I wanted, but I'm going to try out different front ends. So after I get through with this print, I'm going to go take several different front ends, print them out, and then cut this front end off and mix and match different front ends and see which one I like the best. All right, that's all I have. Oh, and I'll show it to you and show you what I've got, and you can also vote on which front end you like the best. That's all I've got for now. So like, subscribe, hit the alert, hit the things if you want to donate, and if you don't like what I'm doing, you don't know jack. Bye.